All right, so it is mid-afternoon, I believe. Uh, we kind of got up late. The reason why I got up late, well, I got up early, but I didn't get a lot of sleep. And this time it wasn't due to insomnia, it was due to other things. Other things being the dog. I took a picture just to show Noelle. So in the bed was Sweets. She still sleeps with us. Even though we put her in her bed, you'll wake up and she'll be in bed with us. Sweets was in the bed. And Sweets, even though she's little, she keeps pushing and pushing and pushing until she gets a big section of the bed. Then there was Noelle. So Noelle sleeps in the middle of the bed. So now we have a queen size bed, so you can imagine, right? So she's in the middle part of the bed. I'm on the far end over here. So there's Sweets. So let me see. Here's the bed. Okay. Sweets will basically take this section here, okay? Even though she can be more or less over here, she takes all this. Noelle's right in the middle. Quincy will roam around the bed, the dog. He will roam around and sleep at various different places. But he happened to be like right here, okay? I'm over here on this edge. You know what I mean? I'm a pretty big dude. But I got this little tiny sliver, and I have the dog pressing on my back. I have Noelle, doing this all on my face. And then on my pillow up here is my cat, Kitty. And he's cleaning and licking his hands, and he's touching my head. So it's like I can't sleep. So that's the reason why I'm up. It's annoying. A lot of times, I used to back in the day just go down and sleep on the couch because it was a lot easier. Sound sleep, no problems. But last night, it was rough. And then Sweets didn't go to bed till late because she's up and doing different things. It was crazy. But anyhow, that's not what this video is about. This video is about someone left a question, and I guess it's an Ask HershNoeie, but they were saying there was 3 thumbs ups on it. So their question was my thoughts about contact tracing, because that's something that obviously is in the news right now, and it's something that people are, some people are upset about it. I know our governor here, launched a statewide contact tracing type deal and that type of thing. And if you don't know what contact tracing is, which everybody probably does, I mean, it's a new word or a new thing. I don't know if it's new or not, but it's not something that everybody has been used to until recently. But it's basically identifying anybody that came in contact, that you may have came in contact with, that has the big issue that's going on, right? And then narrowing it down and all of that. And sometimes it involves a database and that type of thing, and apps and different things, right? So somebody was asking me what my thoughts were about it. Let me first say that I'm someone who really and truly believes in science, right? I used to, and saying used to, we're talking not long ago, maybe a month or so ago, I would get into the weeds with people on Facebook about science and about this whole thing that's going on and that type of thing, right? And really and truly, I mean, anytime, and I've said this, anytime you're dealing with an adult that's been living around the world for a little bit, or living, in the world for a little bit, meaning they're in their 30s or 40s or older, I mean, they're set in their ways at that point. So there's no point in arguing a point. If they believe in fake stuff, then they're going to believe in fake stuff versus reality, right? I mean, I'm not a scientist, so I believe what scientists tell me. Now, some people will say, well, you're just being a sheep because you are believing something that, other people are telling you. And I'm like, okay, then I guess I am a sheep because I'm not a scientist. You know what I mean? Like, I went to college for a reason, but it wasn't for science or biology or any of that type of stuff. So when you have people who have been to school and this is what they do and this is all that they've done, and they've got decades of experience, then yeah, I mean, I go with what they say. Same thing with a medical doctor. A medical doctor will tell me, you need your gallbladder out. Well, I'm not going to sit there and say, well, you're just saying that. You're just saying that so you can get some money. I'm not. To me, that's just silly. You know what I mean? And you have some people that don't believe in anything, especially nowadays. People don't really want to believe much. But I do believe in science. And I do believe in social distancing. I do believe in that. And I actually believed a long time ago that things like masks should be worn by everybody. Now, people disagree, and that's fine. Again, I'm not the end all be all and know it all. But for me, and the way that Noelle and I see it is that, and there's other people I know, is that everyone should wear a mask. And we don't wear shoes in the house either. Like that's just one. It's a thing that we've always never done. When I was growing up, we did, but for the last 10, 12 years, over a decade, I don't wear shoes in the house. Maybe house shoes, but not shoes that I wear outside and inside. We just don't do that, right? But that doesn't mean that everybody else has to. I think that shoes carry a lot of germs into the house, and you're basically being a part of that. I do believe in washing your hands constantly and hand sanitizer and all of that. So I also do believe in the contact tracing thing. I believe in the governor's plan. Like, I can't say personally, and I own a business, because someone was saying, well, what about the businesses? Not here, but on Facebook. And I'm like, I do own a business. Like, I get it. It's not easy. It's hard because right now a lot of businesses are just paying money out. They're not getting nothing in. And you're not getting, really, a lot of them aren't getting really any help. It's not as, and some of the programs the government programs to help businesses, they're changing some of the language on it. So you may be under the assumption of one thing because you read it, but then once you get the loan, then later on the language has changed. So now you have folks trying to deal with that, businesses trying to deal with what that means. Hold on. Anyway, sorry, I had to there was a package at the door. And anyway, this family is crazy. So, so I'm one of the people that believe that what the Governor Inslee of Washington has done, I agree with pretty much everything in terms of this whole subject. I agree with everything that he's done, honestly. Now, again, I don't expect my neighbor to agree with me or my close friend to agree with me or anybody else, but personally, I agree with what he has done. Now, some people will sit and talk about, oh, well, your personal information. I don't want people to have my personal information. Let me tell you something. People don't realize how much information is actually public knowledge. Folks don't seem to understand that there's a lot of things that is on public record that anyone can take a look at. A lot of things. The one things that are not public record would be like your social security number, your medical records. That's kind of about it. You know what I mean? Like, that's it. We would tell people that all the time that would call in, like with the federal government. We had people complaining that their address and date of birth was listed on a site and that they didn't like that, and their relatives were listed, and it's like, it's public record. You know what I mean? Like, that stuff, it's there. So there's a lot of stuff about you, and I've had people before too talk on Facebook talk about why would someone want to go on YouTube and make videos and put themselves out there because you're sharing information, but it's like, but you're on something called social media. You're on Facebook. I mean, you're sharing documents and pictures. Now, you may sit and make your images private or this and that private, but if someone wanted to really see your page, that's not going to do anything. They can easily see everything on your page. They can see all the pictures that you have. You see what I'm saying? And this day and age, even deleting things doesn't mean anything because people capture everything. It's just, I mean, it's silly. I think that one of the biggest problems, and when I say this, I'm not talking necessarily about, college educated, but people are not educated enough, because there's some people who are college educated. Some of the people I was arguing with were college educated and still completely clueless about this whole big issue that's going on. Like, I'm like, really? I mean, like, there's multiple documents and things. It's not important to talk about what that issue was, but I'm like, really? So it's not. I'm not necessarily talking about that, but I think one of the biggest issues, not only here in the U.S. but I think around the planet, is that people are not educated in certain things. And I'm not saying that I'm educated in every single thing, but there's a lot of things that people are not educated in, and I think it's to our detriment. And so, if that means that having something like contact tracing is going to help someone else, so be it, because helping someone else may end up helping me or helping my family. You see what I'm saying? I don't have an issue with it. Now, some people will say that, they feel like it is Big Brother looking over your shoulder. But again, I mean, if Big Brother wanted to look over your shoulder, there's not much that you wouldn't even know it. I mean, honestly, the average person would not have a clue if Big Brother is looking over your shoulder. You're not going to know. So it's funny. I remember back in the day that we would, working for the federal government, we would ask people for their social security number and they would give it to us. They didn't have to, but they would give it to us. And then when they were making complaints about things, but then when we asked for their email address, I don't want to give you my email address. I don't want to get spam. And I'm thinking, if anything, you wouldn't want to give your social because there's more implications there than your email address. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't make sense, because if you've ever used your email address for anything, someone's going to find that. Like, that's easy to find. Like, just your basic simple Google. You can find a lot just from that. So I don't know. Personally, I don't feel like it's that big of a deal personally. But again, some people have different ways of seeing it. They see it as an intrusion, and that's totally fine. That's totally fine that that's the way that they see it. But I'm kind of the mindset, and some people feel like it's a way of controlling people and all of this, and sharing information that they feel like shouldn't be shared, and they're being forced into something that they shouldn't be forced into. And hey, those are valid arguments, those are valid points. But personally, I don't have an issue with the different, and there's some companies now trying to get into the whole process too. Um, those companies have all your information too. I mean, let's just be real. Like, those companies have your information. So some of that's financial information, some of it's personal information, some of it's income information. Did I say that already? So it's like, those are, to me, credit and finance are similar but different completely. So some of them have your credit information, some have your finance information, some have your education, some of them have just everything. So I don't see this as being something any different, to be honest with you. And I think that the more people really check and see how much of your personal information is actually out there to begin with, I think that some of these things won't be. Now, I can't speak for people in other countries because I don't know how other countries operate and what information people have and don't have and that type of thing. But I know here, I know what type of information that is allowable. Whether it should be or not is a different story. But, personally, I don't have much of an issue with it. So anyhow, tell me what you think in the description box below or comment section below. Tell me what you think. On our Discord, I will post this as a question in our deep conversations and see what the folks there have to say. Join our Discord. It's going to be in the description box below. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, I will see you. Take care.